Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Thursday the 9th of September 2021 and we're producing our gold and silver morning update and price forecast. The last 24 hours we saw both gold and silver prices reach their week's high and also their week's low, with both recovering again in the last 2 hours. So all eyes will be on the ECB today, that's the European Central Bank, to give a steer as to what they plan vis-à-vis their QE program. So let's take a look. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Thursday, 9th of September 2021, 9:53 a.m. GMT plus 1. The heavens have opened. It's pouring with rain. And rain, according to the news, is pouring down, or will about to pour down, on the UK taxpayer. Because we can see here, Johnson wins healthcare vote to push UK taxes higher. In fact, to highest ever. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson won a mandate from the House of Commons to raise taxes to the highest level on record to fund health and social care. The result allows the Prime Minister to levy a new 1.25% tax on working Britons and their employers, as well as adding an extra 1.25% to dividend tax. The revenue is earmarked to pay for a post-pandemic catch-up programme in the National Health Service and to overhaul the country's struggling social care system. It comes just a day after the plans were unveiled in Parliament. More taxes, here we come. European stocks drop to lowest level in 3 weeks ahead of the ECB meeting, which those who listened to our podcast yesterday will know that the ECB meeting is today. European stocks retreated for a third day amid concerns that the economic recovery is stalling, and as investors await the European Central Bank's update on the timing of a possible reduction in stimulus. The Stoxx 600 index was 0.4% lower, with cyclical sectors under pressure. Equities in the region have fallen this week on mounting fears over the recovery and reduced support expected from central banks. But some good news for us gold and silver bugs. Gold edges higher as virus spread cuts yields, pressures stocks. Now we'll see in a moment that gold over the 24-hour period has fallen, but has picked up this morning. And this article was written or updated at 9:27 this morning AM GMT plus 1. So in other words, less than half an hour ago, and we'll see what's been happening in a moment. Gold edged higher as Treasury yields fell for a second day on fears of a slowing economic recovery and the prospect of reduced central bank stimulus. European and US equities fell Thursday as investors sought havens, boosting US bonds and bullion. The relentless spread of the Delta virus variant is taking its toll on America's economy as well as global supply chains, depressing growth while boosting inflation. Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas President Robert Kaplan said he would support a plan to adjust the bank's bond buying program soon after the September meeting. Remarks from European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde after a policy meeting later Thursday will also be examined for her take on when stimulus should be paid. Now our view at this moment is that they will not taper in September and not taper in October. And we also suspect that Lagarde will say today, because the economy is slowing down, that they are not going to restrict their bond buying and other QE programs. But we'll wait and see. Rather than predict, let's see what they actually come up with. BBC News, main headlines: EasyJet rejects bid and seeks to raise more money. It's had a takeover bid approach. Morrison's warns drivers shortage will raise prices. That's one of the major stores here in the United Kingdom. Soaring gas prices will feed into customer bills, We're getting a trend here. Facebook accused of allowing sexist job advertising. Prices are still going up. Whatever the reason, shortage of drivers, shortage of stock, higher gas prices, prices are going up, and they're saying inflation is only temporary. US and Canada. Canadian party leaders spar in the national debate. Climate being still a major issue for them. So what's happening financially? Well, the dollar index is down very marginally at 92.59. Energy prices down slightly at 69.08 for WTI crude and 72.52 for Brent crude. Equity markets in the US yesterday broadly down between 0.13% for the S&P to down 0.57% for the Nasdaq and down 0.2% for the Dow Jones. But we could have further falls when the markets open today if Asia and Europe are to go anything to go by. We can see overnight the Asia Pacific, Hang Seng is down 2.3, but the Nikkei and Topix are down 0.5 and 0.7 respectively. UK market is down 1.08%, that's the FTSE 100. The Euro Stoxx down 0.46, the German DAX 0.28 and the French CAC 0.35. Economic news. Well, yesterday we had job openings, 10.9 million, against an expected 10.1, so there are more jobs opening than the market expected. Consumer credit, though, considerably lower than market expectations for July, at $17 billion against an expectation of $26 billion. That may indeed suggest lower spending by consumers, bearing in mind so many people spend using credit cards. Now today we have the initial jobless claims figures, and that's the important figure for today. The market is expecting 335,000. We shall see later on whether that is fulfilled or not. So going to gold. I'm going to refresh the page because I pulled this up a few minutes ago and it has strengthened slightly, even further. Over the last 24 hours, gold is down $2.22 at $17.95.21. But look what's happened here in the last 2 hours, really. We have seen gold rise from $17.88 to $17.95, so it's risen $7. Might not sound a significant amount in fairness, but it is putting us on the equivalent high or slightly higher than the high yesterday on Wednesday. Or rather Wednesday, I should say Wednesday afternoon. Of course, Wednesday morning gold was trading as high as 1802 and then fell right back to 1783, recovered to 1793, gradually fell back and now has recovered to 1795. Silver on the day overall is down 23 cents, but that's taking a literal 24 hour to 24 hour. Again, on Wednesday, it did actually peak for the week at 24.42, fell to its low at 23.86. We were concerned yesterday because it was below the $24 level, but it's recovered somewhat again in the last couple of hours from 23.86 to 24.12. Again, we shall see what happens with the ECB. Cryptocurrencies regaining strength. The market is up 7% at the moment, and we now have a market cap above 2 trillion again at 2.14 trillion. So, important information today. We've got to wait for the ECB's announcement to give us an idea on what they're going to do in terms of their QE program and interest rates. We have the weekly jobless figures coming out, and tomorrow we have the producer price index. It's only really next week we have a little more important data, particularly Wednesday and Thursday next week, but we'll cover that in our weekly update. Where do we see prices heading? Really depends on what the ECB comes out with. and then the effect of the euro vis-à-vis the dollar. We're not expecting dramatic changes unless there is a surprise announcement. So, if anything, we suspect there will be a continuation of the ECB's QE program. They may not be too specific today, but they are mindful they don't want to crash the markets, and the markets are already feeling quite dithery. So if anything, we think they'll be more dovish than hawkish. That's our view. We only have a few hours before we will find out. Thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Quite a few things happening for those interested in the cryptocurrency world, and we're putting regular videos up on Crypto Plus. Links to all of these in the description box below. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.